The Video Game Awards are meant to celebrate video game achievements and masterpieces, celebrating all aspects of gaming, such as the performance from the actors, the soundtrack, the best direction, and Game of the Year, just to name a few. The Game Awards are called the Game Awards as they are meant to bring light to everything amazing, gaming-wise of course, that has happened throughout the year. But this year more than any, there was quite a big emphasis on new games releasing. And I know what you're thinking, it's called the Game Awards, surely they're going to show some new games, new titles. But the Game Awards are not E3. We don't need 2 E3s, we already have one, we don't need another one, so just leave it at that. The Game Awards have really swapped focus from just the awards. And I get that everything changes with time. I mean, just look at music, cinema, and fashion, everything changes. But perhaps not always for the best, am I right? The awards this year didn't even focus on the actual awards. And to be honest with you, they just simply listed the nominees, and then announced the winner, and then moved on to the next category. It was quite shameful, to be honest with you. Companies work so hard to make individual aspects for a game, and then when the game wins an award for a specific category, the team who worked on that aspect of the game didn't even get any notability. They merely said the winner for 5 seconds, and then just sort of skipped over them and went to the next category. It was just so bad. It was so awful. Now I'm in a completely different location. I'm back home from university for Christmas. But just to continue, it was just so strange to see that the actual awards were announced on a side stage, not even the main stage. I mean, come on, that is quite insulting. Not even the main stage. The Game Awards is meant to celebrate the games, and yet they couldn't even be bothered to go out of their way to put the awards on the main stage where everyone can see the announcer. The announcer for the actual awards was stood on the side stage about halfway up the crowd, and he was facing away from everyone. Now, he only announced the actual awards on the side stage, but all the physical awards were actually given on the main stage, so I guess that's kind of okay, but I just thought it was a bit strange that everything wasn't on the main stage, where it should have been. I stayed up till the early hours of the morning, the really early hours of the morning, just to catch up and watch the Game Awards. And since I'm at university, I'm basically nocturnal anyways, so it didn't really matter for me. But I and many other people agree that it was quite disappointing to watch. And to be honest, a good chunk of the awards were actually compiled by adverts. Not all relating to games either. Some were movie trailers, and others were for Samsung televisions of all things. Adverts like these don't need to be in the Game Awards, but if people pay to have their adverts there, then I can't stop them. I just really didn't like the amount of adverts that played throughout the Game Awards. Although some were expansions for existing games, and others were brand new titles, which brings me along to the big reveals of the Game Awards. Now of course the Game Awards was the place where the new Xbox was announced, Xbox Series X, which I'm very happy for Microsoft and Xbox, even though I'm a bit more of a PlayStation fan, but you know, haters are gonna hate. I just really thought that it didn't come across as a big reveal. I mean, it really should have been a big event, but it sadly didn't come across like that at all. It was just sort of brought down by the whole Game Awards event. And the same goes for Godfall, the new entry for the PS5. Yes, the trailer looked cool and all, but then again, there wasn't enough time to explore the game's full identity, which is why I think it should have been left to E3, where everyone is excited for new releases and anticipating what these brand new things will be. Now of course those weren't the only games that were announced. There were also games such as Ruined King, a League of Legends story, Convergence, a League of Legends story, more League of Legends, Prologue, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, The Wolf Among Us 2, Fast and Furious Crossroads, Sons of the Forest, and many, many more. There was so many more, I just couldn't find all of them for this video, so there's some of them, at least. E3 is where all announcements should be. I mean, that's what it's for. That was literally what it was invented for. But having the Game Awards announce some big news like the Xbox Series X or Godfall really takes away from these new developments when they are shown off again at E3. Now at E3, people might be like, oh, Godfall. Great. Or when Microsoft show off the Xbox Series X again, people might say, didn't they already announce this? Or didn't we already see this? The Game Awards really took the oomph away from these reveals. Even after watching the event, I sadly really didn't care about these reveals. The vibe of the whole Game Awards really brought it all down for me, which is quite a shame because those were really big things announced. The Game Awards left so many people dissatisfied with the whole event. So many things were brushed under the rug like they didn't matter. It did seem like for the past few Game Awards they were really heading in the right direction. But it feels like last year they took one step forward and this year they took 2 steps back. I mean, they even had the Muppets in the Game Awards. The Muppets, I know it is as ridiculous as it sounds, but the Muppets were there, you know, who knows why. But they even had a goose puppet in reference to the Untitled Goose Game. I am assuming that, but, you know, it's quite obvious. And, I mean, imagine hearing that you won an award, let's say the best indie game, and then they start talking about a different game completely. You would literally be so bummed out. Overall, the Game Awards were quite disappointing to say the least. Nothing really grabbed my attention, the whole thing was just a bit meh, if you ask me. There was of course a heartwarming speech by Reggie, but nothing else apart from that made me go wow. I just don't think I can express my disappointment anymore, as otherwise this discussion might get a little bit repetitive, but yeah. So with this statement, this is me signing off for this discussion, and please let me know your opinion of the Game Awards 2019 in the comments below. And let's just hope that next year the Game Awards will be a little better than this year. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, then subscribe and turn on that notification button so you don't miss another upload from me. So thank you and goodbye.